And we are live at the dynamic duo, Barry Sterner over there, or over there. Wait,
Over there.
there we go. I got my thumb right, pointing towards
Over
you.
there. Yeah.
And I am Zach Schwartz, uh, Town Team Mortgage, powered by Leader One Financial, NMLS number 12007. And it is a special day, May 8th. Barry Sterner, believe it or not,
Are you going to sing?
is turning 40. 40. That's a major milestone. And you look incredible for 40, I might
Oh,
add.
yeah. I feel
Um,
incredible.
so, first thing I know, we are going to get on to mortgages, but how can our viewers look as gorgeous as you um, when they hit 40 years old? What are you doing?
Takes a lot of work and effort, a lot of stress. Got to do a lot of stress.
So stress, good for the aging.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
Interesting. I have heard the opposite, but those are just randos on the internet. And you being firsthand, um, I'll take that as gospel. Um, so this is the show where we go live. We discuss mortgage rates. We discuss economic trends. We discuss real estate. And you know what? We discuss whatever else we feel like, as is our First Amendment right. So, um,
And we protect your First Amendment rights
and,
with
and,
our
and I just want
pocketbooks.
to get this out of the way. We usually do not agree when it comes to politics, but me personally, I think you want to add, I want to thank everybody, including Pacific Legal Foundation, National Real Estate Post, the White House, Donald Trump, AM 560 The Answer, Fox News, Russ Vaught, for your continued.
Russell Vought is the current acting CFPB director. So you definitely got to thank him. He's pushed for this for a while. And there's many others. There's a couple more
Right. I
lawyers
want
at
to
the
thank
CFPB
everybody,
that did the
including
investigation here. Yeah, did a
including
great job.
and then of course to all of our customers, past, present, and future. The two of us will continue to be your number one source for mortgages. We've got expert advice, low rates, low closing costs, and unmatched customer service. www.townteammortgage.com, or you can call or text 312-896-2100. SMS texting conditions apply. Um, but we had the Fed yesterday. We love the Fed. And they did nothing, as in they didn't increase their federal funds rate, and they did decrease their federal funds rate. Uh, Thoughts, opinions? I know you're fielding all your birthday questions and redeeming all your birthday coupon codes right now. But thoughts on the Fed? You like it?
I listen. I thought the Fed was definitely hawkish yesterday. I don't see, and so did the president. I mean, he thought the same thing. He called the Fed crazy, but I don't think you're going to see any action from the Fed until later in the summer, unless all of a sudden these tariffs really start affecting us. I think they have to wait and see. Employment is seems to be fine. 177,000, I think, last Friday, which, it's 4.2 unemployment, which really hasn't moved. And, it's going to be the inflation factor. Are the tariffs going to create a whole lot of inflation? And I actually watched the entire press conference of Powell yesterday, which I don't usually watch because, listen, the fact is, I'm as confused as everybody else. I've never been through this we're going to have tariffs, the market goes down 25%. I don't think it was only because of the tariffs, but that's a discussion for another day. But the fact is that the bond market and the mortgage market, the mortgage-backed securities are pretty high still.
Yeah, and you
There's been
just
no
look,
movement.
you look to the headlines here on CNBC just across the top. We got the Dow up over 1%. We got S&P up over 1%. Nasdaq over 1%. Mid caps over 2%. And then you go to the bonds and across the board, US to Germany to Japan to England. All of those, not as much movement, but those are higher. I mean, let's take a closer look right now at that 10-year, 4.373. And we're looking at a month there, and it's kind of a downward trend, a downward trend there, even though we're a little bit higher today. um it's no
Well, today
celebrating your birthday.
today we're playing the UK tariff deal. That's why we're up today.
Yeah. How do you think that deal's going to work out? What do we get from the UK? I don't know a single thing. um I don't think I've ever gotten from England other than like the Beatles, which I stream. But
I guess if you buy a Bentley car, that would be important. I'm sure. I'm sure there's a lot of things that come from England that we don't realize.
Bentley car.
But but I forgot there was another
Yeah, that's
there was
next
another
on my list.
I think McLaren's come from there too. But
Oh, okay. Something much more realistic for us.
right.
The
I guess
McLaren.
from the standpoint of a win, the English buy a lot of airplanes from us, and they promise to buy a lot more Boeing airplanes, so $10 billion worth. So I think that's what obviously that's what Trump's trying to
So
get done.
yeah, we want
Promise
them to
that they
buy our
buy our
stuff.
stuff.
But
We
I'm
don't
just
care
saying,
about
what do
buying
we
their stuff.
really buy from them? Like, what do
Yeah.
they care if we like slap a tariff on like their British like bangers and mash and what else did like blood sausage, like not whatever.
Whatever it
I
happens to
love
be.
you,
Listen,
our British
here's the
viewers.
bottom line, okay? Whatever you think about Trump or the
And that's what
administration,
Stone Cold said.
yeah, whatever you think about Trump or the administration, here's the facts where we sit today. And it's a big if he starts knocking down agreements with the UK, with
You
Mexico, with
mean you
Canada, with
mean like
Vietnam, with
getting
whoever, with
agreements in
Vietnam.
place? When you
Let
say
me finish.
knocking
If we're
down,
going to
no,
talk
no,
over each
but I'm
other,
saying you
not
say
going to work.
knocking down agreements means like wiping them away. You mean like
No,
coming?
knocking down agreements, doing trade agreements that are
Yeah.
more
Okay.
advantageous for us because all these countries that we're talking about over the years have taken advantage of us in trade. That's why we have such a huge trade imbalance. So any dollar that he can get them to buy more is going to be a win for us. That's why the people who think that he's going to lose on this tariff fight are absolutely wrong because the barriers in most of these countries for us to get our products in are extremely high. So any incremental decrease in their tariffs is a win for us. It's hands down a win for us. We can't lose because we buy way more than they buy from us, from every
We
country.
are the major consumer in the
There you go.
globe since World War II, basically.
Right.
Um, so yeah, we're the major buyers. And again, in the past, it didn't matter so much about the tariffs because we would just ship the products over, like ship the manufacturing overseas and benefit from the cheap labor and the cheap manufacturing and get cheap goods. But it's only over time now that the factories have shut down, the people have lost their jobs, that you know, the party has to stop, where it's just not sustainable to be a nation of pure consumption versus production. And I agree. And I do hope that, like, I was reading an analysis that really put it in a way, and this was like not from a Trump fan, so, which again, me personally, not the biggest Trump fan, but I like what he's trying to do, and if successful, it's kind of like back when Nixon took the United States off the gold standard, and the threading of the needle here is doing this while still maintaining the US dollar as the global reserve currency. And if we can
Right.
pull that off, it will be
The win.
a
It's a win,
huge
period.
win.
Period.
Absolutely.
And let's look at China right now, okay? Well, everybody knows, and if Nancy
So
Pelosi,
wait,
Chuck
I gotta
Schumer,
look out my window. Yep,
why?
looking at China.
Okay. Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, all the Democrats for years and years, you can see all kinds of tape of them, of video of them talking about that we have to do something about the Chinese imbalance. So right now the Chinese have millions of workers sitting there not doing much. So I know in this country, that's why I think President Trump said that there could be some short-term pain for some long-term opportunity. I don't think that all the manufacturing, and I'm sure you agree, that the manufacturing of clothes, of shoes, of all these, very labor intensive
Not
items are
important.
coming back to the US. It's
Not,
not
but
going
it's
to
not
happen.
important. Right.
Not going to happen. But can we sell cars there? Can we sell different things? And I don't know all the tariff barriers, but I know they're very high. Can we get more products into China? The answer to that question is absolutely, we
But
definitely
maybe.
can,
But if
because
you
there's
look at,
demand. The demand is there.
but we also have safety regulations here in the United States that, yeah, I'm sure there's these Chinese manufacturers that can build cars for cheaper than what we use in the
Maybe.
United States, because they don't have the airbags, they don't have the crash test dummies, and they
How
don't
do you know
have.
that? How do you know that?
I'm speculating
I don't think you're
because
correct, but that's
I'm the
besides.
type of person that, like, I love watching videos of, like, buildings, like, toppling over, and, like, bridges collapsing, and, like,
I don't know. I watch videos of the Chinese building train stations and train tracks and highways
I mean, that's one
way
place
faster than anything that we could do, and way better than anything we can do in the
that
United
that is
States right
one
now.
thing we are behind the world on, is
Yes.
when it comes to high speed rail. I'll agree with you on that. But
Not even high speed rail, just regular train tracks, and I mean, listen, Jensen Huang the other day was talking about Nvidia chips and us, and so is Lisa Su of AMD talking
yes,
about us
yes,
not letting
yes.
chips into their country. And they were saying how advanced the Chinese are right now. I mean, we talk about them like a third world country, and it's just not
No,
true.
no, they are
It's just
not.
not true. Yeah.
But 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 the same people were talking about bringing those manufacturing plants to the United States, which to me is one of the greatest things um, that we can have, because
Listen, if
right.
we could bring back manufacturing jobs, that would be fantastic. We'll just have to see. There's going to be a balance. I mean, I think one of the reasons that Elon Musk and Trump believe that the manufacturing can come back here is because of robotics, obviously. I think the robotics, will make it a more even playing field, with the lower paid workers, but we'll have to see if that comes to fruition. It's not here yet, that's for sure.
All right, switching
Let's talk
subjects.
about mortgage rates real quick. So the
Okay.
10-year right now is at 4.37. Even when the stock market tanked, We never really got back to that 4% area. The question is, and the Fed was talking about this, have the foreign nations, bought less treasury and mortgage-backed security bonds because of what's happening? The data shows
Wait
it's
a
not that
second.
real. It didn't
Uh,
happen.
Sorry, breaking news. Did we just pick, not we, but did the conclave just pick
Yes, they picked an American about 3 hours ago as Pope. Yeah, they
Robert
picked an American.
Prevost?
Yeah, he's an American.
But is he Chicago?
Yes, Chicago. Yes, he's from
That
Chicago.
is the coolest thing.
Yeah.
The first American Pope from Chicago. Wow. Did you see that movie Conclave?
I think I did see it. That there was a documentary showing how they picked the Pope.
It wasn't a documentary. It had like John Lithgow and
Oh,
Stanley
maybe I saw that
Tucci.
one too. Yeah, I think I saw it. Yeah,
Um, great movie. I love
I think
me
I saw it.
some
Yeah.
Tucci. I love me, but yeah, born in Chicago, Illinois. That just shows all of you out there, you know, you come up in this city and one day you can be the Pope, the
You
direct
can be
line
the Pope.
as a Catholic, the
I don't think you
direct
could be the
line
Pope.
to
I don't think
God.
you could be the Pope.
Um, Not right now, but I did look up the actual qualifications. There's really only two. You have to be eligible to take the sacrament, which the body and blood of Christ, and be 35 years old. So I'm meet that 35 years old. You're now 5 years past that 35 years old. Um, you just have to, um,
I'm
you know,
past 35 years old.
just by 5 years.
That's when I
Um,
started Townstone at 35 years old. So, but
uh,
back to your breaking news is over now. So, I mean, the interest rate situation is very odd right now. I mean, where would you say a 30-year fixed is right now with good credit?
Probably the high sixes, but easily
Yeah.
paid down, which is basically a one-time cost that lowers your rate in payment for the 30-year life of the loan. So that can often make sense. Um, and that is why you choose to work with a company like Townstone, because we are not just going to throw you into a loan.
You're also no longer Townstone, you're Town Team, but that's okay.
I'm sorry, Townstone. I worked like 12 years for a company, Townstone.
Everybody on here
So,
knows about Townstone, so you'll be okay.
but
In
Town
fact,
Team
it's on
Mortgage,
the back on my little.
but
It's our little sign.
I don't care what you call us, Barry and Zach,
Oh, I care
as
what you
the
call us.
people you work with for your mortgage. When you work with me and Barry, you don't get just that option and a Luca Brazzi contract like sign or we're never talking to you again. We're going to walk you through the options. We are going to walk you through those buy down options. We're going to talk you through the break even points when it makes sense to pay points or not, or get a lender credit or get a different term. Um, we've got more products than we ever had before. Um, I was just talking to one of your old friends, but someone I've worked with in the past. Not gonna mention his last name, but Larry, and we are
Yeah,
consolidating.
one of my good
Um,
friends.
we are consolidating some of his 20% credit card debt uh, into an 8.75 30-year fixed second mortgage. So cutting that interest rate in half, cutting his payments by $500-600 a month, and he's still walking away with a good 30-40 grand that, you know, he can go bet on.
And so he called me the other day and he was hesitant because rates were going down. He thought rates were going down. And I, of course, had to say to him, well, if you look at the chart, rates are going sideways, rates are not going down right now. So, and you can always refinance. This is something we hardly ever talk
That's
about.
what I
You
talk
can
about.
always refinance your second mortgage. I don't think people know that sometimes there's an early prepay penalty of a few $100s, but it's nothing major
Well, I told
on there.
him, I
So
told
yeah,
him, you know,
yeah.
you can always, but you know, it's not 100% because I said, you know, loss of job. If we have another housing collapse where the prices fall, um, there's circumstances, you know, not always in your control that can prevent you from being able to refinance. But all else equal, yes, rates drop, you can refinance to the lower rate. But even in that worst case scenario, is this option better than what you are doing today? And if the answer is an unequivocal yes, then you take that option and you're happy you got it. And then fingers crossed, rates drop in the future. We're going to take care of you and refinance you to that lower market rate. Um, so yeah, we're taking care of Larry and we're going to take care of you. You just have to go to townteammortgage.com. You call 312-896-2100. You text 312-896-2100.
I love the texting, by the way. It's a shame we never had that before. I love the texting. Texting's
Xfinity.
been the best. It's been a great
Xfinity.
thing. Yeah.
It's their
Yes.
problem, you know. But yeah, the
Yeah.
the the texting
Well, you can tell
is
everyone we have rings. We switched from Xfinity to Ring Central, and Ring Central with the texting and everything has just been. I mean, it's a great tool to have because everybody
moving
wants to
on.
text. So
Moving
yeah.
on to our sponsor section. Are you tired of the bad business phones not working your way? Ring Central, 99.9% uptime.
I
Just
I
go to
I hope they give us some
ringcentral.com,
money for that. We deserve some
ringcentral.com
money for that.
slash town team mortgage and get 3% off your first.
Let's
No,
talk about Larry real quick before we end this, since we've been on so long. So Larry's also worry was, what are they going to give him for his house? Which he always worries about this.
Larry
He's been a friend
worries
of mine
about,
since college.
he worries about
So
everything.
here's my thing that I told Larry. Number one, it's a no lose situation. If you have 20, if you're not paying off your credit card bills and you have 22 and you're paying 22%, I don't care if you have 10,000 on them. I don't care if you have 15,000 on them. Once you get to, over 5 on a credit card and you're making minimum monthly payments, you're dead. Agree or disagree, Zachary?
I mean, you're not dead in the coffin
No, what
financially.
I'm trying to say is
Yes,
you'll never catch up making minimum monthly payments. That's what I'm trying to say. I shouldn't say you're
absolutely
dead
not.
right. Yeah, you're never
Absolutely
catching
not.
up. Yes. You're basically negatively amortizing your payments. So you're never catching up. So once you have that amount on and you can sit right now and take a look at your house. And I think, and I don't know about your condo downtown, but I would say when I look at the value of my house currently, and my friend Lisa just called me and was talking about her lake house, how much that was worth. I think we're all probably looking and saying we're probably very close to the top here because we all look at the values of our houses and we think that's kind of high. The values are high. Agree?
I don't think
Asking you,
so.
Zach.
Not for my
You think
condo,
your
but
condo value is high right now or
I
no?
mean, it's higher than it was when I bought it. And yeah, probably a little bit higher than I'd expect. But you know what? HomeBot. Go to townteammortgage.com, sign up for a HomeBot account, and that's going to let you track it better than any Zillow or Redfin or whatever other website is in there. Um, that is the absolute best tool for tracking your value, tracking your neighborhood, tracking what your neighbors are selling for. And yes, home values in general are high, and you should be taking advantage of that if you've got any of this higher interest rate debt.
I agree,
Period.
100%.
Period.
That's where I was going. So right now, if you have credit card debt, I did you get him a fixed second or did you
A
do a straight home
fixed,
equity?
a
Huh?
fixed, a fixed second, because
What's the rate? What's the rate approximately on a fixed second with a good credit right now? And a low, he has a very low loan to value at the moment, so you got to put that in too.
well, he went up, so it was not even the best loan to value, and wasn't even the best top tier credit score, but an 8.875 with a small lender credit.
Okay, so it's a no-brainer, I guess is what I'm saying.
Eh,
And let me throw something else at. If anybody thinks that we're selling this because we're making so much money on it, we don't hardly make anything on these home equity lines. We're telling you this because it's the right move right now. For obvious reasons, refinancing your first mortgage is where all the people in our industry and purchases make money. The home equity lines, very, very small amount of money, but it's something that most of you should have. If you don't have an emergency fund, another thing we don't talk about, and you're sitting there looking, and the only emergency fund you currently have is your 401k, then going and pulling a home equity line of credit right now and having that emergency fund, if God forbid anything happens,
Well,
not a
well, fill out the
smart move.
consultation request, because the emergency fund idea, I don't know anybody that's letting you right now open a home equity line of credit with a zero balance. They are
Well, no,
making,
you listen, but there's a way around that. Obviously, you have to take the money. Is what's
don't
the
tell
minimum?
them,
50
don't
grand?
tell them the secret in public. We'll talk to you when you do the
All right,
one-on-one
I have to keep the secret better
consultation
down, quiet.
requests.
I'll keep it
Yeah,
quiet. Yeah. All
there
right,
you
that's all I
go.
got, Zachary.
Well, I want to wish Stacy a happy Mother's Day. Wish you a happy.
I don't know your mom's first name, but I'm gonna jog by there in about an hour. What's her first
They're
name?
gone. They're out of town. Go
Oh,
rob the place.
oh, that's great. Good
They're
idea.
visiting my sister in LA because the
What's your mom's
grandkid,
first name anyway? I forgot.
Linda,
Linda.
but
All right.
they're visiting my sister out in LA because she had a grandkid, and as soon as that kid popped out of my sister, I
Yeah,
became a second class citizen in my mom's eyes.
it's all right.
So, I'm a little resentful
You're
of
not number one anymore.
uh,
That's
uh
all.
yeah, exactly.
Well, you could have a kid too, can't you? Go have a kid. You and Cindy should have a kid out of, I don't want to use the term, but you guys should go have a kid. You could have a little kid.
I'm not
A little Zach
respond
and
I could
Cindy.
barely take care of myself.
That's absolutely true, but I think you take care of you take better care of yourself if you had a child.
Well,
Does Cindy want to have a kid?
no.
You sure about that?
I want to have one more than she does.
I think Linda wants you to have a kid, and I know Mike does.
Linda wants me to have a kid, like, yeah.
How old are you now? 36 or 7? I can't remember what you told me yesterday.
Wait, I was born in 88. So 2025 minus 1988. I'm
37.
36 come December
36. All right.
37.
So I had Jackson when I was 39, so you still got 2 more years to catch up with me then.
There you go.
Yeah.
But he's not going to be good at hockey, or she,
No,
or any sport for that matter.
you
But
don't know that.
um, I'll let you get back to your birthday celebrations.
All right.
Happy Mother's Day to everybody out there. Even if you aren't a mom, you had or have a mom. Um, so we love you all. Thank you for the support to everyone I mentioned and didn't mention. TownTeamMortgage.com. Call us, text us. It will be life-changing is all I can
That's
say.
for sure. Talking to us is life changing.
There you go. Everyone, have a great rest of your week and weekend.